What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Neon Trash. I'm your host, Tommy the Hammer, hanging out with Johnny Rocket, Adam McDougallies, and the dreaded Drunken Gamer.
It's me.
Tonight, it is the dreaded Drunken Gamer's pick.
It's me.
D-Boy, what did you pick?
Well, I made these guys do 20 questions or something like that to figure out what I was gonna watch. Adam figured it out before anybody else.
Fucking Sherlock Holmes.
I was like,
elementary.
Everybody loves their Friday the 13th and Halloween, but why don't we talk about the Frighteners? That's my question.
Well, we're going to talk about the Frighteners.
We're going to talk about the Frighteners.
Yes, we are.
What was really cool about this movie, though, is that it originally began as a sequel to the Tales from the Crypt movies, if you can believe it.
I did not know that.
Think about that when you're watching this.
Those were, did I bring the second one over, or just Demon Knight?
You brought over Demon Knight.
I didn't bring over Bordello of Blood. Maybe next year.
Maybe not.
But for now, the Frighteners.
Yes, for your viewing pleasure.
Peep that shit, guys. We'll be right back.
Check out trailer.
I can communicate with the other side. I can see spirits. I don't know why.
Experience another side of the other side. The Frighteners.
We just got done watching The Frighteners, and apparently I'm the only one who hasn't seen it because I wasn't sure, but I'm watching it like nothing rang a bell whatsoever. So, that being said, I'm glad I could watch like the director's cut to see Peter Jackson's vision for this as he wanted it to be seen. So that was neat. And I could definitely see why they wanted to trim out a few scenes here and there. I mean, not necessarily for wheel spinning, but yeah, there was some content that kind of, they wanted to make it a little more palatable for a wider audience. Like, I get it, but I think the term, treat may be bandied around a bit too much, but honestly, for me, not having seen this, I mean, this was an absolute treat getting to see Michael J. Fox doing his thing, but in, comedy horror. Last year I missed out on a Halloween pick, so I'm really glad to have the first one of the season. I love this movie. I love Michael J. Fox. I love Peter Jackson. I love Robert Zemeckis flicks. You like Danny Elfman?
Danny Elfman. Yeah. This shit hits all the right notes for me. And I just love how there's a little bit of deception throughout the movie where you kind of come upon certain aspects you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize that.
It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I actually saw it not too long after it was released on home video back in the 90s. And it was a really great viewing experience then, and it is now. I mean, it takes a while to sort of set up its premise. I mean, Michael J. Fox plays this guy who's involved in a traumatic accident where his wife dies and he gains the ability to see spirits and ghosts and everything like that, and he sort of parlays that into a little bit of a scam for a while in terms of solving haunted houses as a paranormal investigator. So in a way, this movie is kind of like Ghostbusters flipped on its head in a way, until things get serious when the ostensible Grim Reaper comes randomly killing people.
I watched this movie a lot when it first came out. There's a lot to unpack with this film as a Peter Jackson fan, as a Michael J. Fox fan. Back when this movie came out, it was polarizing for audiences. I remember people were talking about it. It was the movie to discuss during the era, and people thought it was a dud. But when I watched it, I actually kind of liked it because I don't like necessarily straightforward, popular, big budget movies, but this was something that was quirky. This was something that was taking a chance. And yes, we're talking about the 90s here, so CGI has to be a big part of it. Post the Jurassic Park era, people were wondering, where are we going to go with CGI? And that's the unfortunate part about special effects like that, especially in the 90s, and which is why I have such a gripe about movies in the 90s, is everyone always wants to talk about special effects. Does it hold up? Is it as good? Can't we just fucking watch the movie Tommy the Hammer is going to give The Frighteners, I'm going 7.5, and I might bump it up to an 8 with a nostalgia point, but definitely 7.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, this was a fun movie to revisit. It's just a fun movie overall. In my opinion, it stands the test of time. I think this was like sort of his tour de force showing.
Knew him from King Kong, man.
Well, later on after the Lord of the Rings, yeah. But this is, of course, King Kong, sure. But I mean, this is like the tour de force is showing what he could do. So, very good, very great feature. Thank you, Dean. It's a great way to kick off the Halloween season. Talk about ghosts and everything. So, I'm going to go with a strong 7.5 for this one.
Oh, Halloweeny.
Halloween Dean.
All right, I love this movie on so many levels. I'm going to start with a 10, and I'm going to take it down by 0.5 because I thought Michael J. Fox's ghost was flat. I'm going to take it down by...
Diener's picking the teeniest of nits here.
Let's take it down another 0.5 because the movie's kind of all over the place. But on every other note, I love this movie. I'm giving this a 9. Fucking, like, I don't understand why this movie isn't more talked about. It's, like...
Yeah, very underrated.
Really one of my favorite horror or suspense movies ever. It's really weird how, like, the movie kind of takes you through a roller coaster of sorts.
It does.
Where it's like, you don't even know what the movie wants to be. But by the end, like, there's a certain, like, understanding, I guess, where it's like, it's weird. There's almost like a Bonnie and Clyde aspect of it, too.
I think the only thing I can think of to why this was considered such a dud back in the day is that, you know, this kind of a movie being like, you know, comedy, horror, suspense, like, for people wanting a comedy, there's too much horror and suspense. For people wanting a horror suspense movie, there's too much comedy. You know, there's certainly not enough slasher element to it. We're not seeing any blood and guts or nothing. You know, in the Ghost, there's too much comic relief for somebody who's looking for a hardcore horror slasher type flick. You know, so I think it kind of turned each side of the audience off due to the other aspect of the film. You know, but I mean, for, I don't know, folks like us, like this is, you know, we like that balance because we.
It's a little bit of everything that we like.
Yeah, we like this big mixed, melted all together. Like it was a multi-genre type of film. I think that's what really appeals to us a lot. You know, we can appreciate every aspect of this. You know, and I mean, I'm about up there with Dean. I was going to give this an 8.5. Honestly, I really enjoyed this. I mean, especially with all those extra scenes, like, oh, I can see why you cut this out. I'm like, boy, I'm glad I'm getting to watch, you know, with it, because that was great. It really helped flesh out certain characters and things a little bit more. Like, no, this was great. Like, you know, I mean, all the practical effects to it, I thought were fantastic. Yeah. Like, you know, I mean, there was an amazing cast of characters, you know, like John Astin, this Arlie Ermey's character, like, they got, like, the right actors to play, like, these smaller roles.
Great cameos.
Seriously, it was just absolutely fantastic, and that was super fun.
I hope it's been informative, guys. Until the next time.
Tune in to Neon Trash.
Cheers, folks.
Cheers.